Changing an oil filter shouldn't be a big problem. However, these airhead engines have one notorious O-ring, which is called the $2,000 O-ring. It's this white one that sits right behind the oil filter lid. And it's called the $2,000 O-ring because it's responsible for many complete engine failures. And today I need to deal with that because it's my first time changing the oil filter on this engine. So let's see how it goes. The oil is already drained and I've got all the spare parts that we need. New paper seals, new shims. These are very important to not make the new O-ring, the $2,000 one, a new oil filter and some oil. If I did this while the engine was still in the bike, this would definitely make less of a mess. But now we're this far, so I'm just going to take the old O-ring out. Behind that sits the shim, and then we can take the old filter out. Now that that is all out, we're getting to the actually critical part of this whole process, and that is to determine the exactly right pressure with which the O-ring needs to be pressed into place. If we don't get that right, the oil doesn't run through the engine, but just cycles back into the oil pan, and that is what causes the engine failure. The pressure is determined by the size of the gap between the sleeve and the engine housing. So we need to determine how many shims and or seals we need to achieve an O-ring compression of 10 to 25%. And yes, normally an oil filter change is relatively straightforward, but this time it's a little bit more complicated. If you want to do it yourself, I'm going to link you a nice article down below that explains everything step by step. The first thing that we need to do is to get an average measurement of the depth of this canister. For that, I'm using the depth gauge to measure in 4 spots around the cylinder, and then I'm taking the digital caliper to actually take an accurate reading of the depth gauge. Now with those 4 measurements, I can determine the average depth of this canister, which in this case is 2.925 millimeters. And then we can take this number and plug it into the formula from the blog post that I'm going to link you down below. And then we can calculate how many shims and or seals we need to get the desired compression rate. And for this specific engine, at this point in time, because the canister apparently can move, we get a compression rate of 22% with 1 seal and 1 shim. So you should probably check this every time you do an oil change, which is annoying, but it can save your engine. Now, before we put the new filter in, it's apparently also a good idea to check if this critical valve right there in the back is working properly. Now that that's done, it's finally time to put everything back together. We exchanged the old paper seal for a new one. Then we lightly oil the new O-ring and also put that on the cover. Now we just need to install 1 new shim. Just have to make sure that's just 1. That goes in there. And then we can put the cover on and put the screws in. Just double checking that everything lines up and that I don't pinch the O-ring before it can actually do its job. And then we can go ahead and tighten the screws step by step so we pull everything together equally. Okay, and the last step is to torque these down properly. All right, and that's the O-ring changed. Hopefully this one doesn't turn into the $2,000 O-ring. If you want to follow the rebuild, then hit the subscribe button. And if you want to watch another video, then I'm going to link you one right here. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.